Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, All That Jazz. Now, if you've been on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, any social media site at this point, you've probably seen it. People are convinced Stranger Things isn't actually over, that the finale we watched on December 31st wasn't real, that it was an illusion, that Vecna is still in control, and that a secret final episode is dropping January 7th. The theory has a name now: Conformity Gate. And it didn't start as a joke. It went viral because the ending felt too calm, too clean, like something was missing to a lot of people. Fans started pointing out patterns, visual choices, dialogue, symbolism, and reading them as proof that the happy ending was fake, a psychic illusion meant to keep everyone compliant. So let's talk about it. Not to mock it, not to hype it, but to understand why so many people believe it. And why, even though the show is ended, it still feels unfinished. So what is Conformity Gate? At its core, Conformity Gate claims this: the season 5 finale wasn't real. Supporters believe Vecna created a psychic illusion, a perfect reality, to pacify the characters and trap them into conformity, rather than openly ruling through fear. The idea is that the real ending hasn't happened yet, and a secret episode will reveal the truth. Most fans point to January 7th, tying it to Orthodox Christmas, Netflix posts with vague "your future is coming" language, the pattern of Stranger Things dropping episodes on major holidays. But the theory didn't spread because of these dates. It spread because of these details. Now I'm just going to give you the details that I see people using the most to support their Conformity Gate theory, so it's too many to put on here. So these are just the ones that I see the most. The graduation scene. Several characters stand with their hands folded in a pose fans associate with Henry Creel. To believers, it suggests lingering mind control. Visual inconsistencies. The voltage dial at the radio tower appears to change colors between shots, something fans link to how Vecna's illusions were exposed in earlier seasons. The D&D books. In the final scene, both spines allegedly spell X a lie, interpreted as Dimension X is a lie. Costume symbolism. Orange graduation gowns are read as prison imagery: conformity, containment, control. Characters' appearances. Some characters' claims haircuts and styling subtly resemble Henry Creel, suggesting assimilation rather than freedom. The ending tone. No major sacrifices, no lingering threat, no cost. For a show built on consequence, the calm felt too suspicious for some fans. Now, I can somewhat understand why this theory has caught fire. Conformity Gate pretty much exists because Stranger Things trained its audience to look deeper. This is the same show that hid major plot points and background props, used music, lighting, and framing as a storytelling tool, and revealed entire truths seasons later. I mean, there are so many Easter eggs and small little details in this show that have gone such a long way. You mix that with the fantasy of it all, it's very easy for fans to go off the rails and think any little thing is pointing to something is coming or something new is here, So I get it. So when the finale didn't feel like the previous finales, fans filled in the gap, especially fans who expected one last loss, one last major twist, one last price to be paid. Instead, they got relief. And for some people, the relief felt wrong, and they still feel like something is coming and something is missing. Now here's where the Conformity Gate theory falls apart. There is no official confirmation of a secret episode. The Duffer Brothers have said episode 8, The Right Side Up, is the end. Cast members, including Randy Havens, Mr. Clark, have explicitly denied a hidden finale. Netflix has already announced a behind-the-scenes documentary as the final release, not another episode. A secret episode would undercut massive marketing, premieres, and global screenings that already happened. So, from a production and business standpoint, a surprise ninth episode really wouldn't make much sense. Now, I said this in my previous video that I think comprehension and literacy has played a part in what fans are saying are plot holes in the finale in season 5. But I also think a part of the reason why Conformity Gate has caught on is because there is a lot of confusion right now about exactly what is a plot hole and what is just an unanswered question, because a plot hole in something that was just left unanswered is not the same thing. People keep asking things like, what happened to Vicky? Where is Susie? What about Dr. Owens? Those aren't plot holes. Those are characters whose stories simply didn't need resolution on screen for the main story to end. Not every loose thread is a broken one. But there is one thing that genuinely left people, including myself, questioning logic and if this is just bad writing or sloppiness from the Duffer Brothers and team involved. The entire season made one thing very clear. Hurting the hive mind can also hurt Will, and we saw it. When the military was burning the Demogorgons in episode 4, The Sorcerer, Will is in excruciating pain. He collapses to the ground, screaming in pain. The connection is physical and emotional, and it's undeniable. The show makes it a point to tell us Will is still deeply connected to the Hive, to Vecna, to the Mind Flayer, and because of that, many of us assumed something very specific heading into the finale. That severing the tie with the Hive or destroying it in any way would come at a cost to Will. But in the final battle, that reaction never comes. There's no mirrored pain, no backlash, no consequence. This season framed Will as the central point, like the main person, emotionally and narratively, and then shifted the climax almost entirely onto 11. Yes, Will does matter. Yes, he helps. Stopping Vecna's Groot hand is important, but the show spent so much time establishing Will's connection as dangerous that it's fair to ask why the danger disappears when it matters the most. That's not fans nitpicking. That's fans noticing the rule that was set and seemingly being ignored. And that disconnect, more than missing characters or unanswered side stories, is what's making the finale feel unfinished for a lot of people. Now, I can honestly say I have listened to a lot of reviews at this point, some fair, unfair, some I agree with, some I don't, and I don't necessarily think the fans are completely wrong. The finale intentionally avoided spectacle. It emphasized healing over punishment, connection over dominance, breaking control instead of killing the controller. That choice will feel strange if you expected major deaths and bigger plot points and things to happen than the final image that you got on screen. But it doesn't mean that the finale was fake. It just means the show trusted its themes and went with what they thought was the best way to end this story for these characters. Now, I for one did have on my final theories video, my final predictions video, that I too thought Vecna was doing some kind of illusion or control, but I think it's safe to say, guys, that we just have to chalk this up to the Duffers and the people involved, especially with the editing in this last season, just not having the best eye, especially with the silly mistakes with the color changes and things like that, like with the vault dial, and silly writing when you add Will saying something like getting milkshakes at mall vaults, like silly and stupid writing. I think that's what we need to chalk all of this up to, versus us getting a whole brand new secret episode. Now, I'm not against this episode. If it were to happen, I can tell you the world and internet would be completely gagged. I don't think any series has ever did anything like that. It would be shocking, to say the least. Conformity Gate isn't proof of a secret episode. It's proof of how deeply people cared about these characters and this show. It's what happens when a story teaches its audience to question reality and then chooses peace instead of paranoia. Stranger Things didn't end with everyone trapped, it ended with people choosing to live without fear controlling them. And when you spent 5 seasons watching a show about manipulation, trauma, and control, a quiet, peaceful ending can feel like a betrayal within itself for fans who have invested over a decade into a series. So let me know what you guys think. Are you team Conformity Gate is real? Do you think fans should just leave well enough alone and accept the finale that we got is the finale that it's going to be? Do you think the ending felt strange because we aren't ready to let this show go? Let me know how you feel in the comments. If you've enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay curious and stay out the upside down. I'll see you in the next one, guys.